Today on the Weight Loss for Women Over 40 podcast, we are going to talk about emotional eating and negative self-talk while losing weight. So, have you ever dove into a bag of potato chips and when you came to, the bag was empty? And you're like, did I just eat the whole bag? Then all these thoughts about how you not only can't lose weight, but you never will, they start flowing in. This is what we're going to talk about on today's podcast. So, hey everybody, welcome to the Weight Loss for Women Over 40 podcast. I am your host, Nikki T, and I've been helping I can't even talk today. I've been helping women lose weight since 2002. Can't believe that. That was when I got my ACE certification as a personal trainer. So for about half that time since 2002, using my background as a personal trainer and as a physical therapist assistant, I gave fat burning workout programs and nutritional meal plans and guidelines to my clients, and they all got results. But what I found is they haven't kept the weight off. And after experimenting on myself, because I am my first client, I discovered the missing piece to keeping the weight off for good. It is in the mindset work. When clients come to me, they get customized fat burning workout plans and they get food guidelines where no foods are off limits in my private coaching. But the biggest part is when we get together each week for one-on-one virtual private coaching. This is where I dive into the why behind what you're doing or what you're not doing. Because whatever you are doing now is creating the body that you have now. So if you want to change your body and get healthier, you need to change the way you think about weight loss. If you're ready to take that next step and lose the extra weight for good, I want to invite you to book a call with me by going to Weight Loss for Women Over 40, that's 40.net/call. Again, the link is Weight Loss for Women Over 40, the number 40.net/call. And if you're not ready to work with me yet, then go grab your free copy of 5 Reasons You Are Not Losing Weight Over 40 ebook. That can be found at weightlossforwomenOver40.net/book. Again, all these links are in the show notes or wherever you're listening to this. So go ahead and dive into that. All right, let's dive into emotional eating and negative self-talk while losing weight. So, if you have been listening to my podcast or following me on socials, you have heard me talk about the two sides we operate from in our brain. And if you're new here, welcome. So, let me give you the cliff notes. For our purposes, there are two sides of the mind that we're talking about today. They are your primitive brain and your sophisticated brain. Your primitive brain is our survival mechanism mind. We need this in case a saber-toothed tiger decides that it wants us to be their lunch. So this side of the mind creates a lot of drama to help keep us safe, but it typically derails us from achieving our goals. If we can get this part of the mind on board, then we win. The sophisticated brain, which is your prefrontal cortex, I like to call it the sophisticated brain, is the side that tells us that we are the rock star and we can do anything we want. We want to play and hang out here as much as possible. So I want you to imagine your sophisticated brain is very demure and tranquil, and your primitive brain is very loud and screaming most of the time, like a toddler running around, having hissy fits and running amok. You won't always hear your sophisticated brain because it's usually very quiet. Remember, demure, very sophisticated. Also, it can't be heard above the toddler brain that's screaming at the top of its lungs. So when you come home from a long day at work, or when you shut that laptop at your at-home office, your toddler brain is like, yes, it's cookie time. It's time to get a reward for working so hard today. Woohoo! This side of the brain likes default mode. It likes to run on patterns that are easy, even if they do not serve your goal that you're after. The less thinking, the less calories it has to burn. You know, I don't like talking calories, but the less energy it has to burn. Remember, the primitive brain side likes efficiency and instant gratification. So, of course, the cookies are going to be the answer. So, you grab the bag of cookies and you start eating. Now, if you have been doing this repeatedly throughout your whole life, you may not even be aware that you're eating the cookies. It's kind of like when you go on autopilot. Like, have you ever driven the same route and now when you drive it, you kind of zone out a little bit and you're like, wow, I don't even remember driving. Like, how did I get here? It's kind of like that. You don't have to think about how to get there, you just go. At some point, you will become aware of what you're doing. Like when a car jumps in front of you, or for most of my clients starting out, you become aware when the bag of cookies is empty. Thoughts like, I just ate a whole bag of cookies. How did that even happen? Now, if you just answered that one question that popped in your head, you would deal with just that one answer. But no, this is when the negative talk starts kicking in. I can't believe you just ate an entire bag of cookies. No wonder you can't lose weight. What the hell is wrong with you? Why can't you just eat one or two and then put them away? You will never lose weight at this rate. This is like layer one. Layer two is, well, Susie, my best friend, she can lose weight just like that. She doesn't have to worry about food. It's just not fair that I was given these genes. You start comparing yourself to others. Then layer three. My parents are both overweight and I just can't avoid turning into them. Or my husband keeps bringing home my favorite desserts. I just can't say no to him. It's going to hurt his feelings. Blaming others for you being overweight. Now on to DEFCON 4 level, the ultimate layer. I hate my body. I will never change no matter what I do. Or some version of how you are a horrible human being and you might as well just give up this weight loss thing forever. Now, what do you think is going to happen next? You are probably going to start grabbing for another bag of cookies because in that moment, you want to feel better. And primitive brain says cookies are the answer to make me feel better. Mom used to give them to me when I had a bad day, and those cookies made everything better. But ask yourself, do they really? The added extra layers of judgment and negative self-talk from that one question, and now you feel horrible about yourself, and you've told yourself you're never going to lose weight. And whatever you tell your brain, it believes and will do whatever it can to make that your truth. So let me say that again. I really want you to hear this. Turn up the volume if you need to. Whatever you tell your brain, it will believe it and it will do whatever it needs to make what you think your truth. Now, I know the scenario that I gave sounds so dramatic, but this is what our brains do. It double, triple, quadruple layers and layers of judgment, negative self-talk, and doubt that you can't actually lose weight. All these negative thoughts compound and mentally weigh you down. You are carrying around a mental weight all day long. So, what can you do about it? So, my first suggestion is to come work with me. Seriously, in 6 months, you will be amazed at what you will be able to accomplish working together. And again, no foods are off limits. This is so opposite of what you've probably ever tried before. That's why it works. Remember, you can jump on a call with me at weightlossforwomenover40.net/call. But I am going to give you some starter steps when you find yourself in this situation. So step number one, awareness. Catch yourself with your hand in the proverbial cookie jar. Be aware of what you are doing is key. Even if you become aware of it after you ate all the cookies. Remember, our primitive brain likes default thinking. It likes conserving energy. It takes no thought or effort to eat a bag of cookies. Our brain is on board with this. Our brain doesn't run on Dunkin', it runs on ease and convenience. Step number two, after you are aware of what you are doing, answer the first question that pops into your head and only that question. So what comes up when you are aware of what actions you just took? This is where a great coach comes in handy because you might answer that question and be like, oh, okay, now what? Step number three, this is really, really important. You are not allowed to judge yourself for eating the whole bag of cookies, eating one cookie, eating two cookies, anything in between. There's no judging yourself. And this is vital, and it's very challenging to do, especially when you are doing this on your own. And when this has been your default programming for over 40 plus years. This is where personalization comes in when working with me in the private coaching. When you have tools that are customized to what you are thinking and doing, it becomes easier to navigate through this whole process of judgment and self-negative talk and all that. So to recap the steps, 1, have awareness of what you are doing. 2nd, answer the first question that pops into your mind after you become aware of your actions. And 3, you are not allowed to judge yourself. If you want help navigating your way through emotional eating and negative self-talk while losing weight, I want to invite you to schedule your call with me. Working together, we're going to look at what is really causing you to hold on to your weight and what you can do to get that body that you really want. It's time to not only lose the weight, but keep it off for life. Again, go to weightlossforwomenover40.net/call and schedule your call today. If you like this episode, make sure you subscribe to wherever it is that you are listening or watching. And if you're feeling extra generous, please leave a 5-star written review on Apple Podcast. This helps the podcast be suggested to other women all over the world. Again, when I look at the statistics for where this podcast is reaching, it blows my mind every single time. So let's reach more women. Let's get them help. Let's end this whole diet culture. So instructions on how to leave a 5-star written review for the Apple Podcast is in the show notes. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart in advance for any review that you leave. So that is all for me today. Make sure you stay tuned for next week's episode, and I will talk to you soon.